Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teddy's Haven. I decided to do another episode of this. And yeah, it's technically interrupting Shadowbringers, mostly because the spot that we're at in the move has me fairly certain that I've only got like a day or two that I can like finish uploading everything. So like, you know, I'm just doing this. This should be going up right after the last Ocarina of Time though. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Teddy's Haven has received a new update, and it is the outdoors update. And I hopped on earlier, just like a minute or two ago, thinking like, okay, so according to the thing, like there's patios and stuff like that that are, you know, available now. And I can see this, yes. You know, you can see that there are, ooh, there's a cellar. So that's cool. That is something that they said is coming. But yeah, patios. And it looks like the second floor. Ooh, look at this. Okay. Well, you can now get up here without having to do the little glitch there. So that's neat. But they're definitely going to have to do some work to fix some of this up. They've actually already said that there's some like major changes coming with like how you unlock stuff. So I would not be surprised if one of the major changes that Maverick is working on ends up involving, you know, how this stuff all unlocks. Yeah, see, there's a whole extra section now to the house. That's cool. But yeah, so I heard, you know, patios and stuff, and I was like, cool, you know? And it looks really neat. And then I realized that, I have a building right over here. And, yep, that's where I put my building. That there's now a patio there. So, whoopsies. I'm gonna have to do something about that. Not entirely sure what yet. There's now a door right here as well. So I feel like I need to adjust for that, regardless of whether or not I actually, you know, utilize the exterior shop patio, you know, whatever. I'm definitely gonna need to adjust for the fact that there's a door here. So, but it does look like that they are planning to go about setting up the second floor of the the structure, which is cool. I'm pretty excited for that. Go ahead and activate my glow harvest spires. And actually, now that there is like a patio, right? I'm thinking like I could put like this stuff out here, you know? Have just a little like seating area. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I need to make some adjustments to the store now that, you know, this patio is here. You know, especially since ooh, there's a door here too. That's slightly problematic. But yeah, I need to move my building here. Luckily, moving it is not too difficult. Because I can get right underneath, and if I just grab the floor, all of the pieces will come with it. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we put it over here. Now, obviously, you know, the walls aren't coming with me when I do this. Not automatically, anyway. I'll have to, you know, correct that. I have to grab the walls and, you know, correct that, of course. What? It's like a different snap all the way over here for some reason. I can't get these to line up. Even with like lowering the snap down to 1. There we go. Also, all of the hotkeys actually still work, even when you're not in the menu directly, which is really interesting. So, like, I was able to adjust the snap location there by hitting the button, even though I didn't have, like, this exact like screen open. So it's just neat. You do have to be a little mindful of that, depending on what you're doing. There we go. Up. that's my structure brought over. Aside from, you know, the walls, of course. Which, you know, I will have to do because there's still stuff attached to the walls that needs to come over. But, even so, the point is that I have moved the structure, more or less, as, you know, as a whole. Can't quite tell if I did that right. Oh well. I am gonna have to move the entrance so that that won't be in the same exact spot. Really hard to see the edge with the grass there. Good enough for now. We'll make it work. But this is also part of why they upgraded the wand, the like putting stuff away wand, because as the world gets updated, you know, furniture, buildings, etc. kind of get stuck inside of spaces. I mean, there's not much you can do about that. You know, you can't really plan for every single thing that every player and, you know, that's ever going to play the game is going to do, you know. Like, if the game were complete, then yes. Like, that would be a problem. But this is an early access game. You know? Like, I feel like there's an unspoken rule that, like, if you're gonna play an early access game, you have to be prepared for the inevitability that is the entire world getting changed on you. And the very real possibility of your save files getting completely screwed over. Speaking of early access, though, I have news on that front about my game, which is that I have been able to apply for and have been accepted to Steamwork, the Steamwork system, which is how you sell games over Steam. Now, I have no idea, like, when I'm going to, like, look into actually like putting my game into early access. Partially because I'm a little uncertain about how early I want to do it. The main issue that I have with putting my game out into early access right now is that I have no music for the game. And I am still currently in the process of converting the game from one artist to another artist. Now, if I were to get the artist conversion done, which I'm very close to, I'm waiting on, I think, like 2 more pieces of art. And then, like, we'll have everything, like, I'll have everything, like, available to be transferred, more or less. But, like, once I have that, well, once I have the art that I need, then, I still, like, I don't have any music for the game. And a lot of what I've been using as music so far is music from other video games. And obviously that's not gonna fly if I'm trying to sell it early access type thing. So I need to either figure out a way to, get music so that I can replace those, or I have to consider the very real possibility of putting the game out with no music. Which, there's a part of me that says, if I put the game out into early access and I make a note in the early access, right, that it's like, hey, we don't have, I don't have music for the game yet, yada, yada, yada. There's a part of me that's like, hopefully somebody would see that, and go, hey, I could help with that. And thus maybe somebody might come in and be like, hey, look, I can help with that. And, would compose. There's also, unfortunately, the very real other side to it, which is that unless money is made off of the project, I have no money to hire anybody, Like, yes, I do have the artist that is working on the game, and I am thankful for the fact that they are helping out with the game, for what is practically nothing. But I don't expect that to be a thing with anybody, you know, or with everybody that shows interest in like working on the project. You know, I very much expect that I'll be like, hey, you know, would somebody be willing to help? And then it's like, freaking, people just are like, hey, you know, pay me exorbitant amounts of money. And I'd be like, I don't have exorbitant amounts of money, you know? And that's the thing, like, I have no issues paying, you know, whatever it is that people would, you know, decide, you know, is their, their, I want to say dues, you know? Like, I have no problems paying whatever people decide, like, this is what you gotta pay me. I just don't have the money. If I had the money, I would pay. No problem. You know? And it's like, unfortunately, that's the biggest issue. You know, you'll go online and you'll see, you know, people talking, and it's like, hey, you know, don't use AI because, you know, hire like legitimate people. And I'm like, again, I'm fully in agreement with that. I very much do not agree with the use of AI in like anything. And there currently is no AI used in my project that I'm aware of. You know, anything that's AI would be something like, oh, I went and got, you know, an RPG Maker sprite, you know, off of an RPG Maker like DLC thing. And then that person that made that DLC like didn't disclose that it was AI kind of thing. Like, I would absolutely avoid, you know, purposefully adding anything AI to my projects. The problem is just, again, people will say like, you know, go get, you know, go hire the people and all that. And it's like, yes, but I don't have the money to do that on my own. You know? Jeez. Regular, Dark Luna, Dragon, Glitch, Honey, Sky, and Star. Okay. And I grabbed the Glitch, I grabbed the Regular, I grabbed the Dragon's Blood. Did I say Dragon's Blood with the cheese? Yes, Dragon Cheese. So I need Honey and Star. Do I not have 7 cheeses? What am I still missing? What do I have over here? Star Shard, Honey Glow, Dragon's Blood, Sky, glitch, regular, and what am I missing? Dark Lunasite. That's what I was missing. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, it's like, you know, you go online, right? And, you know, the number one excuse usually for AI usage is like, you know, freaking, I knew what I was trying to say. My brain is not wording. Like the number one thing is like, you know, like they don't want to like have to deal with, you know, paying an artist or whatever. And it's like, I'm the opposite. Like, yes, I'm not planning to use anything AI, nor am I looking to do that, you know, nor am I like trying to defend it. But if I was an AI bro, which I'm not, again, like, my thing would be like, I don't have the money, you know. It's like, it's not that I don't want to pay the people. I absolutely would pay the people. You know, I'm not freaking Captain Sparkles, who absolutely hates freaking any amount of having to pay for anything. Which is just, it's one of the most ridiculous things. I'm just like, freaking never quit YouTube, I guess. Because if you had any kind of any other job, you would have to deal with that. You know? But like, you know, again, it's not that I don't want to. It's not that I'm not okay with. It's just that I literally don't have the money. You know? And like, one thing that somebody will say in response would be like, okay, well, if you don't have the money, then learn. And it's like, okay, I've tried that for years. Like, if I was an AI bro, like, I could come up with a million reasons why I would use AI. I'm not. I completely agree that AI is all stolen, and you know, there's and like, you know, data centers are legitimately a problem, you know. And it's not even like good at like what it does. Like, AI isn't even good at what it does. You know? Like the things that AI people try to like say and be like, look, this is why you use AI. It's like, but like, you could legitimately get a real artist and it would be less time consuming for you, and it would be better. Like, nah, bro. So like, you know, I don't defend AI.
I'm free. God, it was so dull in
Mappy's voice lines are still really quiet. You know? But it's not that, I would defend the usage of AI, because I wouldn't. But I am in the situation where AI would be the thing that would be beneficial for me to use in my project. Again, I'm not going to, because it would be really freaking stupid of me to do it. But I can see where they are coming from. You know, I can see where like AI bros would be coming from to a degree. Purely off the fact that like I could find a use for it that I would consider, justifiable. Due to, living on the poverty line level of life. For my whole life, really. You know? I feel like he got bigger. I don't know. I don't know if he got bigger or not. But again, though, even though I could make arguments of like why I would use AI, like if I was going to, like I'm not gonna, purely because I'm not going to. I'm not going to use AI, so I'm not gonna sit here and try to, make all these claims about, well, in my situation, because, like, yeah, in the situation that I am in, I could find reasons. But I am very much not doing that. I'm very much avoiding that possibility. I feel like he got bigger, because I don't remember him being this freaking massive. Maybe there was a bug where it was like capping his size. Because remember, like, he wasn't growing. But like, I feel like he got way bigger. I don't know. I really have no idea where to put him now. He's so big. Like, I feel like I need to shrink him. Because he's so big, I legitimately, like, can't put him anywhere where he's actually useful. So but yeah, I have no interest in using AI tools You know, I won't sit here and be the one that tries to claim I've never once touched those tools. Could I have? Several times that I did, it was because I loaded something up that I didn't realize was an AI tool until I got into it. And I was like, oh, this is freaking an AI thing. Well, freaking, you know, close that. Like, there's a program on my phone called Pixel Studio. And it, as far as I know, what? Sorry, I got some kind of a comment. You know, a notification popped up about a comment. And I'm like, huh? Because all I'm able to see is the notification portion. And it's like, counterpoint. No it isn't. No it's not. No it doesn't. I'm like, okay, one, I don't know what you're countering. Because, you know, I'm only seeing it as a freaking notification, you know, but also like none of those are counterpoints. So like, what? And so I was thinking like, oh, this must be some kind of freaking, you know, it must be one of those like people from FF14, you know, the bad side of the community that's like, nah, you know, you have to do things this way, and you know, you're not allowed to play the game the way that you want, kind of thing. And then I look, and it's a comment on Myst, and I'm like, huh? Like, what could they possibly be saying in regard to freaking Myst? You know? I'm like, huh? Like, I expected this to just be like, oh, you know, FF14 freaking douche bro. But it's not. It's Myst. I'm like, huh? What the heck are they even saying? Like, I'm curious enough to check it, you know? Because it's like, what could this possibly be? You know? Like, I remember a couple of times where I've, like, posted comments, and I should note, these are comments on Reddit, so I mean, you know, it's Redditors, and so, you know, regardless, it's douche bro. Like, regardless of, you know, what they're saying, you know, or like what I said, like, it's still some kind of douche bro comment, you know, whether it's FF14 or not. Few speak of Hollow Reach, and fewer speak within it. The vast underground city carved by the Pale Folk, who believed silence brought strength. They carved songs into the walls instead of speaking, and their children were born mute. Then one day their silence cracked, and the echoes have not stopped since. Thank you for listening to what others fear to hear. And like the notification that I got from it ends, you know, because like it only shows you, you know, so much. It ends with something like, let's see, what was it? It's awful that people like you want, and then that's where the notification ends. I'm like, it's awful that people like me want something? What could we be talking about in the freaking Myst subreddit? You know? Like, I've posted like 3 times maximum in the Myst subreddit. You know, I go there just to look at fun, you know, posts that people make about the Myst series. Like the only thing I can think of is like somebody asked for help and I like said something in response. But like, what? Huh? No, it's not. No, it doesn't. And freaking, I'm like I want to check it out just because I'm like confused and I want to like see what the frick they're trying to like argue. But also, their argument is counterpoint, no. Like, that's not a counterpoint. You're just saying no. You know? Like, I don't know what I even said that you're saying no to, but that's not a counterpoint. Like, a counterpoint is when you make a point. You don't just say no and expect that to, you know, it's like, I said no, therefore I win. It's like, that's not a counterpoint. Like, you have to say something. Like, the only thing I can think of is, like, maybe I responded to something in, like, Riven. Because, you know, the Myst subreddit is for the Myst series, right? And so I'm thinking, like, maybe somebody posted something in, about, like, Riven. Like, but even then, I don't know what I would have said that would earn a, no it's not, no it doesn't, freaking, you know. People like you, are the bad people. Like, what could I have possibly said? You know, that earns that. The answer is, it's probably nothing. Because again, it's Reddit. Which means douche bro. Like, and I'm sorry, but, like, nah. Like, if your argument is to, you know, insult people, like, I'm sorry, but that's not an argument. Also, I seem to have accidentally picked up the fairy. Because it is, the pink one is following me. Which is fine, it's just funny. That, like, I have the pink fairy, even though I wasn't trying to pick it up. But, like, I can see it's following me, clearly. But, like, only kind of? Like, it's saying, like, back there until I reach a certain point. And that, like, warps over. It's not saying in front of me like it used to. But yeah, like, I'm almost curious enough to, like, pop it open here in the video. And, like, see what the frick it is. Just because you know, I've already commented on it, basically. And, like, here's the thing. Stuff like that doesn't bother me at all. Like, you know, when somebody says, like, you know, people like you are the problem, and, you know, you're this horrible whatever, you know, you're the kind of player that causes this fandom to be terrible. Well, I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm sorry, but that doesn't affect me at all. The main reason is, like, I don't know who you are. We have interacted once. Like, I have no reason to, like, have any value to your opinion. You know? Like, that doesn't bother me at all. Ooh. Something over here that's been added. The land has definitely been morphed around here. But yeah, there's now this, like, circle over here of just land out there. I don't know what it is or what its purpose is going to be, or... Sometimes... Wow. Sometimes I wonder if, like... Sometimes I wonder if Maverick makes edits to the map just for the purpose of, like... making edits, you know? Like, not to actually, like, you know, enhance anything or, you know, make it look nicer or anything, but just because he wants something fun for people to, like, look at and be like, huh? With every few updates, you know? Like, how he puts trees in the water randomly sometimes. It's like, why he do that? Like, why are there just trees just freaking submerged in water? You know? And to be fair, maybe I'm just projecting, because I am that type of dev that, like, if I were to release my game that I'm working on into early access, I'm absolutely gonna just stick random stuff throughout the maps for the exclusive purpose of there just being random crap in the maps, you know? Not because, like, oh, this will be something eventually, but just, you know, here's a bunch of stuff that may or may not have any relation to something later in the game. Feel free to, you know, theorize if you want. You know, I'm not gonna tell you if you're right or wrong, or if any of this stuff is just total, you know, garbage that'll be, you know, and like, that's the thing, like, it would, all of that, like, stuff would be removed by the time I release, like, a full version of the game. You know, once the game is, like, released and out of early access, then it would be like, oh, look, you know, all of that, like, random crap that I threw in for, you know, just for the heck of it, is gone. Mostly because, like, I would want the maps, you know, once the game is complete, I would want the maps to be very coherent. You know, I wouldn't want there to be anything in the game that's, like, weird and, like, confusing and why the heck did they do this, you know, in the final product. But you can absolutely get away with that ahead of time because of early access. You know? It's like, well, maybe it'll be something. My problem is that the game that I'm making is an RPG. And I just don't know that a game like that works in an early access format. Like something like this, you know, where you're like building out the world and things. Like this kind of stuff works, you know. I don't know that an RPG where, like, you know, I edit the freaking characters and now you have to completely restart your save file. You know, like, I don't know that that works all that well in early access. And, like, it's one of the reasons why I'm unsure about actually doing it. Purely because I really don't. Like, I don't know, would people buy an RPG that's like a chapter? And like that's probably all that will ever actually be put out in early access? Like, I don't think I would add any of the actual, like, you know, chapter 2 and on, like, story into the, you know, not into, like, just early access, you know? Like, I don't know that I would, like, keep everything up to date, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know another way to say it. You know? Like, I don't think, like, if I was gonna do early access, I think, like, you know, I put out chapter 1, and then, like, if I did release, like, chapter 2 into early access, it would be, like, when I felt like it was complete enough to consider, you know, putting it out there. I guess I would do it episodic. You know? I suppose the term episodic would be better. You know? I wouldn't put out, oh, you know, here's a new area that you can now walk to. But that's literally all there is in this update, you know? Like, I don't feel like that. I don't like that. But also, like, an RPG really isn't that kind of game that you would want to, like, you know, put out regular, regular updates on, I feel like. You know? I feel like an RPG would be more of like would be more of an episodic update is what you would want, you know? I feel like episodic would be more what you want in an RPG. Even in early access, you know? Okay. And then yeah, I mean, there's all the patio, space out here. And again, the idea is that you're supposed to set it up to, you can put like your shops, you can put stuff to sell like out here now, you know? But also, like, there is this whole area underneath here. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to using that as my, as this space. If I hadn't built this, I would just put it all underneath the patio here. And it's like, yeah, I just go down here, I do all my stuff down here, you know. And then, people come in and they walk around and they buy the things and yada yada. And there's this spot, which is, I mean, it's because there's like this overhang. But also, like, that overhang wasn't there before. Like, that's a new thing. So, it's like, huh, how does that work? Like, can I put stuff here? Because, like, this is also enough space just on its own. Like, I could have just put everything right here now. Kind of thing. But also, again, I kind of like this idea of like a little hidden work area underneath the patio. That's like not actually hidden because, you can see it from here. But also like, you're really not going to look down there. So, go ahead and pay off all of our bills. What I could do is, since I have that patio area, I could use it as a produce section. And put like some of this stuff out. I mean, I kind of put a lot of that away because it really wasn't selling. I do still have the eggs. But yeah, like, it really wasn't selling, but at the same time, like, now that I have the area, it's like I only have 2 produce displays. A double and a single over here. That's all I have. So that's interesting. I suppose they really didn't do much in the way of produce stuff to begin with. So I guess it does kind of make sense. I'm assuming he'll move in a later update, since he's just here to, inform you that the wand has been upgraded. So I'm going to put that tree there where he is. And then that kind of, hides, like, the under patio. You kind of have to go around the tree to get underneath. So. But yeah, I do kind of want to try taking advantage of this. So maybe I'll just do like produce displays out here. And maybe I can even do like, some seating, right? There's produce displays, but also come chill and relax, I have 20 Kakarot. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna buy a little bit of everything. And we'll just kind of see how it goes, more or less. I mean, they're literal pennies. Like, the price of these things is literal pennies. Look at this. 50 cent. Freaking 70 cents. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 altogether. And of course, there's also the triple tall that holds 9 on its own. See, the thing here is like a lot of this is meant for the decorative player, which is completely fine by me. I'm just not the decorative player, But even so, like, there's a part of me that, because this is, an early access type game, because it's set up, for you to, like, play around with and experiment and things, like, there's a part of me that really wants to interact with every feature in some way, Just so that I can be like, look, I was able to do everything. You know? Back when the game was still kind of new and, you know, everything was... the future of what the game could be was uncertain, and you know, like I like being able to do that, being like, look, I could, you know, I tried to do all of the things. When it comes to like full release games, I rarely do that, but these like early access things, I'm always like, well, you know, I don't want to be like, well, this barely does anything. Because, like, yeah, maybe it doesn't yet, you know. But, like, maybe it will later on. If I freaking disregard it now, while it's still early access and nothing's set in stone, like, maybe that'll be something, like, really cool sometime. You know? Like, for example, some of these are selling for freaking $2. You know? Freaking Dew Leaf and Emerald Squash and the Sunbell. The freaking broccoli, the Emerald Bloom here is $6.20. So, it's like, I don't know, like, I kind of want to see how it goes, you know? With that said, I really only have the amount that I have out there of each of those. And so it probably wouldn't hurt to buy a little extra stock of everything. But I also am fairly confident that that stuff isn't going to sell, you know, like a lot. And so I'm kind of like, maybe, you know, for now, I leave it at, you know, that amount. Like, maybe it's fine if I just leave it at that, you know, at, like, perfect stock level for each of these. And then I wait a little while to see how things go, you know? So... produce. Produce is right out this door. But who's gonna watch for people stealing stuff? I know, shoplifting isn't a thing, and I hope that it stays that way. When they added shoplifting to freaking Supermarket Simulator, I was just like, I'm good on this. And I turned it off like immediately. I was like, I'm good on this, thanks. I'm good on this. Ooh, a third set of finely grown variety of produce. How about that? There's actually more. Oh, and then there's another one for even more produce. How about that? So I just added these 4. Sunflare squash, forest bell, violet leaf, and sun clove. So I will need the produce display double again. So that I can put this one out here. Although there definitely is an aspect of like, you know, I came from Supermarket Simulator first, and Supermarket Simulator like required, originally, I know that they've changed it up since, but like it more or less required you to like have everything and, you know, sell everything, otherwise like the customers got annoyed. And so like I am used to like just, you know, selling everything. Oh, see, that's a pepper. And that's a pepper. And like, this is garlic. And I just got onions. Or maybe that's garlic and the other is the onion. I feel like these things should be together, you know? Is what I'm saying. And like, these are like a type of tomato looking thing. And then these are like a green tomato. I just feel like they should be together, you know? And like, here's another pepper. So like, I have 3 peppers. So like, if I put all 3 peppers together in one spot, you know? Or I should say I could put all 3 together in one spot, you know? And then that's squash. And I literally just pulled some squash off of the thing. And we'll take the tomato, put that over here for a sec. We'll grab the pepper, and we'll put the pepper over here. So now we have all 3 pepper together. And then we'll take the garlic and put it over here so that the garlic and the onion are together. And then I've got the tomato, where I've got the red tomato and then the green tomato. I do have the violet leaf over here. So I'm thinking the violet leaf can go there and the emerald leaf can go there. I actually want the corn over here, but I wanted to put that on the bottom. I have some corn left over, it looks like. So they were trying to stock it. I'm like, nope. Also, I want that down here, actually. So that then I can put the squash up here. Or maybe that was just the fairy that I was seeing. I thought it was a wisp. I don't know. And then I can put the other squash down here. Or, well, no. I'll do it the other way because the giant squash looked kind of bad being on the bottom. And then there's still another produce that I could buy once I have enough money. I do have to check the prices because I moved everything around. So I have to watch for any green prices here. Like this one. 170. So today the Game Grumps posted a compilation, because I always post compilations on Fridays. And today's compilation was Supermarket Simulator. Partially that's why I came over and started playing this, because like it's just fun to watch, you know? Like the supermarket sim stuff is just fun. It is just fun. But I'm still not happy with Supermarket Sim itself. The company that that made it was like, we're gonna do all these fun things to with the game and add in all these cool features. And I was like, cool, that sounds awesome. And then they just decided to scrap all of it, basically, in favor of getting the 1.0 version out. And I'm like, see, you were already making money with the early access. Like, you didn't need to scramble to put out the full version of the game when like half of the features that you said you were going to add haven't even been added yet. And like, that was my like point of contention initially. And then I noticed that they started releasing some of the stuff that they said that they were going to add to the base game, that they've been releasing as DLC. And I'm like, okay, these, you made a point of saying that this was going to be part of the base game. And now you're saying that it's DLC instead. Like, okay. I know one company is suddenly deciding that they want as much money from their thing as they can possibly get. And I hope, like, heavily, that I never become like that with any of my games. Like, I hope that I never do that. Well, I'm like, I'm making bank with this. I want more. But also, I'm aware that I'm the weird one. Like, in Final Fantasy XIV, I don't greed. Like, there's a lot of, you know, instances and, like, dungeons and stuff, and it's like, you know, people will be like, you know, greed! And I'm just like, nope. I will run away from the boss, even at 2% HP. You know, like, I will avoid attacks even when the boss is at 2% HP. Like, because the last thing I want is to be the reason why the group wipes. Because I decided to try to just greed and not bother with the mechanic. But that causes, you know, like a bunch of people to die or something, somehow. And thus, what would have been, you know, a 5-minute boss fight has now turned into a 15-minute fight. Because now the group has wiped and we have to start over again. And then you know people are going to do it the second time. Like, you know, people are just going to greed the second time. And then, you know, that causes a wipe again. Flying has arrived. Auto harvest / placement. Hold the modifier while pressing interact. Automatically harvest and place items on shelves. Yeah. Because of summoning, send items directly into the bag of storage with arcane redirect. Light sources have received adjustments. Turn off wisps. Current scale of adjustable furniture is now shown on the UI. Different axes. Auto forward. And forward or backward manually will turn off. Simple and seamless. Huh. I did not know that one. Press F10 to hide the interface. Critical UI stays visible, but the rest steps aside. For screenshots, snap to grid modifier. Okay. None of the new stuff that was added this patch has been added to mini patches like thing. Apparently. I mean, I'm watching people go out here, you know. I am watching that they are coming out here. Boop, boop, quick eggs. Goodness. Like, did we actually just sell that many freaking emerald leaf already? Like, I'm just noticing, like, how little there is here. Because that seems like I must have sold a lot of the emerald leaf. Yeah, you get 24 per container. And I was down to freaking 6. Meanwhile, you can see that some of these just haven't sold at all. Yeah, I've got 48. I get 48 sundew bulbs, but I have 34 in stock. Also, I have to refresh it. Just to see, like, yep, see, we just sold 2 more emerald leaf. Then, like, the emerald bloom, we've only sold 2. We've sold 1 squash. Violet leaf isn't selling very much. But people are walking out here to purchase produce, which is neat. Go ahead and just buy another crate of the violet leaf. Since I turned on the arcane redirect, if I purchase anything from this purchase menu, it still arcane redirects. Whoa! He just picked up like a ton of crimson bells. Did you do you see that? Like, there's almost an entire layer of them missing now. That said, nobody has sat down on any of my benches. And also, it is a little dark out here. Like, there are lights here, but I don't feel like it's enough. Let me check the stock of some of my other stuff. Like, my weapons that tend to, you know, suddenly be out of stock. Like, super fast. Because they don't hold many to begin with. Well, no. People have been buying a lot of produce today, actually. It seems like. All the potions are good. Like, a lot of people have been going out for the produce, much to my surprise. Like, it's not a problem. That's awesome. I just remember that it didn't really ever sell before. So it's kind of nice seeing, like, hey, you know, some of the stuff is actually selling now. So all right, 8,000. Ooh. Go ahead and get more turtles. I'm down to so few, like, toys. I'm probably selling them. Like, I probably sold a bunch. One of the things that I always seem to be running out of is quivers. Oh, nope, I do have extras. Okay. I do think that, like, the magic of Ursa does, like, prevent shoplifting. Because, like, because Maverick, the creator, like, he's made a couple of comments on and some things like that before. About, like, you know, no, like, you can't use weapons in Ursa because of the magic of Ursa. And, like, there's basically, like, a peace spell that, you know, is always active here. And stuff like that. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that logic applied to, you know, shoplifting. It's like, you can't shoplift because there's magic that prevents that. And, like, yeah, I totally, like, that sounds great to me. Like, I like that idea. I might even steal that for my D&D campaign. And if that isn't the logic, I still might, I might turn that into my own thing for D&D, you know? Might decide, well, that's, you know, it may not be that way on Ursa, but actually my world has that, you know? Because, like, you know, think about it. Like, you live in a fantasy world where, like, magic just exists, you know? And not even just, like, little bits of magic, you know? Like, high-level magics exist. Like, why couldn't there be an anti-shoplifting spell, you know? Freaking, there's a spell that prevents you from lying, you know? So, like, why couldn't there be a spell that prevents you from freaking shoplifting? No night times? I don't see any nighttime events. I did just realize one of the nighttime events is like right here. So that could be an issue later. I guess it depends. I'll have to kind of keep an eye out. You are just far too big. I feel like I should put you somewhere else. That you're just not, somewhere that you're not going to be in the way. Like, look at this. I can't even see him. You know? Like, I can't even see where I'm placing him. He's that big. Whoops. I put him the wrong way around. I think he would be very happy if he could look out upon the world from where he stands. Goodness me. He's gotten so freaking big. It's ridiculous. I did learn that there is a new achievement. Not like super new. But it has to do with the crystal over there. Which is very far away. Oh, you know what? I should, if I want to do this, I should grab my mount. Because I'll be able to move faster. Ah. Like, I can move faster across the land with the mount, so... I just have to remember where I put him. There he is. Boulder! Whee! Time to go! Now, technically speaking, like getting to that crystal would be easier if I like set up a system to get there. But because I don't already have such a system, it would take even longer to set the system up. You know? So, it would be easier for me to just go over there. But I will want to try to make as much of the journey without flight as possible, since you don't get your full speed. In flight mode. Now we're into the low level of detail world. That crystal right there. That's where we're headed. It had nothing to do with this. Though that is still weird that that's there. But like, you can see how far away the crystal is. Like, it is way the frick out there. Like, it looks like it's super close because it's so big. But the truth is that it's actually really freaking big. And there are 2 achievements that are currently available that I do not have. One of those achievements is going out to the mountain where the developer shows up and talking to him. The other is this crystal. Oh, hi, Out-of-Boundium. Look at how massive that is. See, most devs wouldn't model all of this stuff because you'd never see it. This dev was like, yeah, the Out of Bounds is like part of the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and model it. Which is really cool, to be honest. You know, I like that the Out of Bounds is like part of the game. And then like he expects that you're gonna come out here. At this point, I have to fly. But okay, I was just making sure that I was in fact moving. There are two achievements that are both way out here. One is this crystal, and the other involves talking to the developer. And all of the guides that talk about the achievements are like, if you're going to go for this achievement, do it when the dev is there, because it's easier to go out to where the dev is and then come back. Was once fleeting is now eternal, living on in tender memories. Message from the sky, a living memory. Cool. That's it. That was the achievement. Literally just get up high enough to this crystal that you get the message to appear. So, that said, I didn't even know like what to expect. The guide was just like, get to the top of the crystal. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. Oh. The crystal has no collision. That makes sense, though. But yeah, usually the dev would be over here, I think, on top of that mountain. And if you go all the way up there, then you glide, you can get up here faster than if you try to fly. So, that said, that's like, that's just straight up the Earth's moon. Like, that is just straight up Earth moon right there. So that's interesting. Probably no lore implications there. It's probably just grabbed moon model. It's not like Genshin, where the moment that they were the moment when Genshin first gave us the lore that like 2 moons were dead and like 1 was like, well, no, I think that the original like reveal was that all of the moons were dead, and that the moon in the sky was a lifeless husk or something like that. But I was like, oh, I bet you anything that the moon that we see is false. Like, it's a fake moon. And a bunch of people were like, nah. As it turns out, it was the moon was fake. So, there's that. Ooh, sun apples. Okay. I've already got those. Hey, look, it's this dude. We haven't seen him in forever. Soul berries. Ah, well now, I've not seen someone tending this place in quite a long while. There is care here. I can feel it in the soil, and the way the wind moves through the grass. You should cherish this time, little one. It passes faster for you than it does for trees. My name is Verdhorn. I am what some call a Elderroot. I think it's supposed to be an Elderroot, but whatever. Travel across many lands, through deep forests, quiet plains, and mountains that speak only to the patient. When I walk, I listen. The rivers tell stories, the stones remember old arguments, and the roots beneath the ground whisper secrets older than kingdoms. Sometimes I wander so long that I lose track of the seasons, and time forgets to follow me. But I always find my way back to Ursa. There's a calm here that few places carry. Land... I hear freaking jumped into my mouth. There's a calm here that few places carry. The land breathes easily. Even the winds seem content to wander rather than hurry. So I return now and then, to rest, to listen, and to remember that the world can still be gentle. It's good to meet you, shopkeeper. The land seems quite pleased that you are here. Yay! 15% profits and increased plant harvest. So yeah, we haven't seen that guy in forever. I don't see any other guests. I think it's just him. Let's just go ahead and activate the spire. Nope, nobody else over here. Cause I haven't seen the giraffe dude. Since they added the achievement for him. So I don't think I have that achievement either. And since the game wasn't like tracking that sort of stuff before, because there were no achievements for it, like even the whoa. Whoops. There's a texture missing right here. No, that's legitimately like the ground is missing right there. See? Like I'm moving along the ground underneath. So like that is just legitimately not there. Whoops. These things do happen. It is early access after all. Velvenite berries. I think I was getting those before. Yeah, I don't think those are any different. Cause now it's summer. So there are now different like berries. Night blush. I mean, I'm getting so many crop. Like, I'm getting so much harvest that, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I could go an entire year without harvesting more berries. And, like, I could make all of the jams and all of the buzzes. And I probably still wouldn't run out, you know? I haven't been behind old Brow in a while. Huh? This is now something you can harvest. It gave me RAM. I assume as in like, you know, computer RAM. I'm gonna have to check that. I mean, it's one a day, but still. On it goes, the Centaur clans of Bramer's Field roamed free and fierce. But a mortal bard, clever and cruel, carved a horn from a fallen elder's bone. With one note he tamed the herd, with two he made them kneel. But with three, they rose again. They say he still runs, with feet behind him always. Thank you for not trying to tame the wild in me. Whee! And of course, there's still azure berries over here, because those don't change. Some of them don't change, because I see that a lot of this is now night blush and not azure berry anymore. But there are still 2 patches of azure berries. Not that I need them. I mean, I'm at 26k. Hey, I get more tiger melons now. Not that I'm using the tiger melon for anything, but you know, I just have too much of everything is the problem. Like, I legitimately don't need to be out here harvesting all this stuff. But at this point, it's become like an OCD type thing. It's like, I have to be out here harvesting. Because there's so much to harvest. But like, really, I don't need to be out here harvesting any of this stuff. I could probably go an entire year, you know, in game and not harvest any if I really wanted to. That said, I really should look into a use for these royal peaches. I keep harvesting them, but like I haven't done anything to like turn them into product yet. I mean, you know, I could always just sell them as is. But generally, in these kinds of games, you'll get more money if you turn them into other, you know, another produce. So it's like, yeah. Like, I probably want to do that, you know? But then I'm like, I don't know, what would I turn them into? Jam? Buzz? I could do either one. But like, I don't really have a spot to sell them without like adding more stuff to the shop. It's not that I don't have the space, you know? Like, I definitely have the space now. But still, it's like, I don't know. What do I do, you know? Freaking yawning. Oh, as an aside, I decided that I was going to attempt something. And I went out and I bought a Nintendo Switch 2 camera to see if there was any chance that that the camera itself has, you know, built-in like face tracking. And if so, you know, maybe it would be better than the webcam I have now. I'm like 90% sure that it does in fact have its own like built-in face tracking and like capturing. And the reason I'm fairly certain of that is because when I load the Switch 2 camera up into the program that I currently use for my avatar, it starts going like mad crazy. You know? And so I'm assuming that that means that it has its own, you know, like face tracking system. The issue that I have found though is that I don't know how to use it. And not because of, like, not necessarily because it kind of, like, goes berserk, when I, like, load my avatar through it. More just, my current setup does not allow me to put the camera somewhere that it can, like, directly look at my face. And so I've got to figure that out. But I'm not going to worry too much about that because of the move. So once once I get moved and I have the chance to like redo my entire setup from the ground up, I'm probably going to experiment with that a little bit and see what I can do. It works. It does appear to work pretty well. It's just the position that I have to put it in here, right, like in my current setup doesn't work very well. Like it really can't see my face very well with my current setup. So, but yeah, it's something that I, you know, might look into. If there is anybody watching that is more knowledgeable of like face tracking and, you know, the like the VTuber model stuff, I'd love to get some assistance, you know. Because, like, I'm using a program for my avatar that is called VC Face. And it has not had an update in 3 years. Sort of. They did release an update like a couple weeks back, which was that it is a Unity program, and I guess there was some major like security like defect in Unity that like got found, and so like Unity had to do a big update to fix it, and so like a bunch of like Unity like, you know, based games and programs all had to like update. And that was literally the last thing that the developers of this program have done in the ways of updates. Prior to that, it's been like 3 years since anything got done with the program. It's still using freaking VRM 0. I don't know what the difference is between it and 1.0. I just know that Vroid like can export into both, but VCFace can't import 1.0. Can only import 0.0. So I don't know if that's like a big deal or if that really doesn't matter at all. Like, I don't know. I really have no idea. I don't know anything really about the VRM format and like what is... Like, I just don't know really anything about it, is, you know. So... but I know that there are like, you know, live 2D like models out there, and those are supposed to also be like kind of better. Like the live 2D like program is supposed to just be better at like handling face like tracking just as a whole. So foundations and walls only. Interesting. Box and store, just store. Okay, so you want to make sure to change that once you pull it out. Blue Sky, Dark Luna, Blood, Honeyglow, Alaboundium Star Shard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Boop. 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 And boop. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, at this point, I probably don't need to do any of this. Like, I probably have enough of, like, all of these products that I don't actually need to be, like, doing any of this. Like, I could probably, you know, leave it for, like, multiple days, and it wouldn't even matter. But you see, that gets into optimizing the game. And I don't do that. I'm not a game optimizer. Like, I'm just not that kind of person. Like, when I play FF14, I don't even try to optimize my rotation. You know? Like, there is a rotation that you can do where you do good damage, and then there is Savage rotation. I do the basic, you know, I do good damage. And I legitimately don't care beyond that. Because all I do is casual content, and in casual content, the difference between doing an optimized rotation and a basic rotation, like, the difference is so slight that you're looking at, like, literal seconds in difference. Like, you're literally looking at freaking 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, you know, in difference. And it's just like, there's not enough reason to bother, you know? Like, I'm not playing Savage content. You know? Like, it's as simple as that. I'm not playing Savage content. I have no interest in doing Savage content. If I do Savage content, like, at expansion cap, like, in a way that, like, you know, I actually complete it, it's gonna be because somebody else was like, here, just join our group, and, you know, we're good enough that, you know, we can complete it on our own. And so you won't even have to worry about it. Which is it is very possible to, you know, to have that kind of thing. Maybe not, like, at current cap, but, like, a patch out, you know? like, I will do the extremes that came out in Dawn Trail, like, whenever Cold comes out. You know? And, like, that will be it. You know, that will be the only time I even do the current, like, extremes. You know? So, like, I feel like I'm hearing, like, rumbly. Like earthquake or, you know, something like that. Like rumbly noise. Maybe it's just these. I don't know. It's weird. I have no idea what I'm hearing. If you don't hear anything, then great. It's very possible that it's a sound coming through like my headphones. I know that like sometimes like the air conditioner here will like be in such a way that like with my headphones on it like makes a weird noise. I don't think that's what I'm hearing, but it could be. I don't know. Pay off all the bills. So we do have another produce for 2,250 that we could unlock. There's also just a lot of stuff here. Our next expansion is 24,000. I don't think we'll see that happen until the new system comes out. So now we've got Snowbloom, Crimson Bulb, Lemon Flare, Squash, and Night Clove. Crimson Bulb and Sundew Bulb should probably go together. And then Sun Clove and the Night Clove can be their own thing. Whoops. I sent that to the bag. Produce. There's also, of course, all of the stuff that I've grown myself. Lemon Flare, Squash. There's a Snowbloom. And what was the other one? Night Clove. So let's get a crate. Oh, there it is. Just so I'm sure I don't have to deal with them, I'll turn those off. bring these out here so I can also kind of get a good idea of like what I have. So I've got the sun clove and the sundew bulb. So I'm going to want to put these together. I'm going to want to put the sundew and the crimson bulb together. So I'm going to put these up here. And we'll put these down here. $2.20. We have a third squash. Sorry. Produce display. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab this entire thing and pull it out. And grab this and pull it out. So that I can put this one in. And what we're going to do is move everything out of this one. And put them all in here. And then we're going to take the squash and we're going to put it in here. And the other squash. And put it in here. And then the other squash. And put it in there. Now all the squashes are together. Cool. So then we'll take the sun clove, put it up here. We'll take the night clove, we'll put it down here. I think that leaves one produce left that I don't have a spot for. And that's the snow bloom. Now, looking at this looks like cauliflower. Which makes me think I want to put it with the emerald bloom. Because, yeah, these are the same thing. So, I'm going to want to take the corn out. We'll put the emerald bloom on top. And we'll put the snow bloom on bottom. $7 even. And that leaves us with either figuring out what to do with the fact that I've got two things here and one more produce here, which honestly would probably just be that I move it all over onto this thing instead. Or the other alternative is that I do have other produce items. And it's just that I don't have it's just that I can't purchase them. And in that regard, I'm thinking I'll put the Quicari eggs here. I'll put... Nah. Quicari eggs go here. Dawn feather eggs go up there. And we can put our corn here. Or, excuse me, golden spire, as it's called in this game. And then what I am thinking is we have Frostvale apples, Green Whistle apples, and Sun apples. Because we've been through winter and spring ever since they updated the apples. So we don't have the fall apples, and it's going to be a while until we get the fall apples. You know what? I have an idea. It's completely counterproductive to what I was doing. And so I'll have to move the eggs again. I'll have to move them back into this. But that now means that I can put the apples into the tri fruit here. And what I will do is I will take the corn out. We'll grab some Frostvale, Green Whistle, and Sun apples. And some Royal Peaches. And at some point, I will have to convert this to the 4 thing, because what I am going to do is we will do spring apples, we do summer apples, and I would put fall apples there. We don't have any. So instead, I will put the winter apples. And when we get when we do get the fall apples, I'll convert this into a 4 a 4-slot produce thing. And then we'll have all 4 apples. And now you might be able to also see exactly what I'm planning to do. Beyond that, I do think I need... Oh no, I have a produce. I do have a double right here. So that's good. We'll put our corn here. Let's put the corn on the bottom. And we'll put our royal peaches right on top. We'll sell them for $3.90. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I'm gonna move the eggs. I don't like them being on that corner. So that works. I like that. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. I do need... Whoops, I already had one of those. Also, you know, I put it in the wrong spot, but I just realized I already had one of those in my storage. $10 is a lot less than $1,000. And I don't mind just running back and forth real quick and throwing those away. So, but yeah, I like that. We have begun our produce arc. And this, you know, kind of looks like a natural part of this. It's like a little, just a brazier next to these, you know. It kind of looks natural. Only, really only kind of. But what can you do? Horticulturist License 5. Horticulturist Guild thanks you for your patronage, promising more to come in future updates. 5 items will unlock here. So I'm assuming that this then does unlock something. Even though it doesn't say, like, you know, like the other stuff. Like, it's not listed. It's not listed like the other stuff, you know? But I'm guessing that it does unlock some stuff. Gonna unlock furniture set 2. Just to see, because it said that there were other lights. Obviously I just looked at them. But I'm also just looking at what else unlocked from that. Not much. Not much else. A couple of rugs. And mostly it's the freestanding torch and these. Fancy wall-mounted candle. Like, I I'm suspecting that the metal lantern is not going to light up any more than what these already do. I want a little bit more light out here around the produce section here. So obviously, I won't be able to tell how well this worked until nighttime comes. But here's hoping that this helps. Because if not, then I don't know. Yeah, I assume the wall-mounted lanterns are literally just these. So they're not going to light up, like, much more, if anything at all. You know? We'll get 2 more of those. One that we can put over here. And one that can go over here nicely. So yeah, there's hoping that gives a little bit more light. If not, I'll think about it a bit more. So. My sinuses are like acting up more than normal today. So, apologies that I'm doing, you know, a fair bit of like, you know, snarfing. No, that's not the word, but whatever. The point is, like, you know, I'm doing a lot of, like, the sniffling and, like, the kind of gross, like, you know, I'm just making a lot of freaking nasal noises, you know? Hello? Oops. I was wondering why I hadn't seen the wisps yet. I forgot to turn the arcade redirect back on. It's fine. I fixed it. Let's start the day. And so we see how our produce sells today. Will it sell well? Will it sell poorly? I guess we wait and find out. You know what? I'm going to buy more of these. Since we just started a new day. My shop is so weird. Like, if you think about it, like, I'm kind of just selling a little bit of everything, you know? Like, I kind of hadn't even thought about it, but... Like, I really am. I'm just kind of selling a little bit of everything. Produce. So that way both doors are marked. Not that, you know, it matters for, you know, the people, because they don't pay attention to the signs at all. But it looks better, you know, from a human point of view. Whether it matters or not from a computer point of view, you know, I'm not too worried about. They come, they go. They come, they go. I figure I haven't done any register work in a little while. You know? Might as well. 2884. There you go, friend. I mean, I've got 4 cashiers who are never busy. Because they handle it well enough. $18.57. Look at that. Total $151. $131. $13.88 back. I haven't seen many of the other animals lately. It's been really just the goats. $172.74. Nice purchase, friend. Well, hello, sir. This is a paladin if I've ever seen one. Like, that guy is just like full paladin gear. Hello, mage friend. Odd to see a wizard buying swords. But maybe he's buying for his adventuring company. Go ahead and close that down and then take a step out here. Now that it's dark. It's not as bad. Like the wall, the lights on the sides do help a little bit. Not nearly as much as I was hoping, but they do help. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, nighttime event. It's Lunasite! Earned legitimately. I mean, not that earning it from earning it from that guy is less legitimate, but do I have the arcane? Yeah, okay, I have arcane redirect on. Clearly need some more of the quivers. I'm just gonna buy a thing of bows for each, just in case. If you think about it though, a lot of my money is like purely profit. Like a lot of the money that comes in is purely profit, because like anytime somebody buys like one of these or like any of this stuff, like this doesn't cost me anything, you know? Like I don't have to purchase any of this stuff. So like when they buy, you know, gems or buzz or ethers or scales, you know, like all of that is purely profit because it doesn't cost me anything to produce. Oh my goodness. We almost ran out of dew blush. I did not expect to walk out here and see that nearly empty. Like, that's insane. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh. Unfortunately, this stuff is not pure profit, because I have to buy these. But still, you know, freaking $10,000 is not terrible. A little bit more of that would be good too. Not bad. Not bad. Ooh. Running a little low on some of the potions there. But otherwise, yeah, I think everything is good. Very cool. Very, very cool. And since we have a couple of extra doors, let's go ahead and make sure that we have rugs. That way, you know, people can, you know, clean their dirty feet before entering. I am a little surprised that, like, the characters that go straight for the produce don't, like, walk here. Like, they don't walk over here. Everybody comes up this way. And I wonder if what it is that they start here, right? And they take this path. Like, do. They stop here, because if you watch, they always stop right here. And then, like, I think that once they get here, then their AI switches to go actually buy stuff. And so then they have to walk all the way over here. Like that. But that's fine. Just, you know, interesting that it does that. That's all. Alright, well, I think I'm going to end things off here. Because, you know, again, we're in the middle of, you know, doing the whole moving thing. I know that we only did 2 days here, but it is what it is. I'll try to do more, you know, later. You know, the next time I play, I'll try to do like 4 days or so, like usual. But, you know, these are pre-records. They've got to get... I've got to get a lot of them, you know, and got to get them out before we get the move, which it seems like tomorrow for me, anyway. For you, it'll have been like 2 weeks ago, but for me, it seems like a lot of that stuff is going to be starting up. A lot of that work is going to be getting done tomorrow. So that's exciting. Yeah, there's still a big hole right there in the ocean. Hard to see unless you're like high enough. But there's a big hole right there in the ocean. Oh, there's like a whole area up here. I mean, maybe I've seen this like ridge here before, but I don't remember it. But yeah, big hole. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, feel free to subscribe. You can check the playlist for any of the episodes that you might have missed. You can come on out to twitch.tv/Serene Inc., where I normally stream all of this stuff. But as I said, I've been in the process of moving, so I have not been streaming much as of... Well, I haven't been streaming at all. I've been doing all these pre-records, so... Freaking... This should be going up on, like... I want to say the... like, 10th or 11th of June. So, hopefully I'll be back by then. So, if not, I will say, this might be the last pre-record that I have available. Might. I'm not sure. So if there are no videos and I haven't come back to stream yet, we're probably just waiting on the internet at the new place by this point. Like, we should be fully moved in by the time you're watching this. But freaking it took a month to get internet when we moved to the place that we're currently in. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't take freaking a month to get internet at the new place. So I won't know until until then, basically. So we'll see. But with that, I suppose I will hopefully see you all next time. I don't remember this, like, curly mountain. See you later.